Hey everybody, Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. We've got another concert review for you. Today is Thursday, the 20th of September. I want to talk about a concert I went to last weekend in New York City. This was the 15th of September in New York City's Irving Plaza. Of course, it was the return of the mighty German power metal legends Helloween. So for those of you who have or may have not heard, they're doing this kind of whole Pumpkins United tour, which is bringing back like some classic members of the band with current members of the band to do this whole like almost like best of tour, world global tour, which I believe is going to continue into next year. I think they're recording new music. I think they have released a new song recently. So it's kind of exciting times if you're a fan of Helloween. I've been following this band ever since they released their first EP and The Walls of Jericho and obviously the Keeper of the Seven Keys albums, and I've been following them all the way up through. So we've seen a lot of guys pass through the band over the years. Some people favor one era of the band over others. I kind of like all of it, although I'm partial to those, first the EP and the Walls of Jericho album with Kai Hansen on vocals and guitar. I love the Michael Kiske era, specifically the two Keepers albums, which to me are legendary classics. He stuck around for a couple more albums and then he left, and then we had Andy Darris come in, who's been on vocals ever since, and they produced a lot of really great albums since then. So what's this tour all about? So on this particular night, last Saturday, no opening act. Band went on just about 8 o'clock, a couple minutes after 8. I actually was walking into the venue with my brother just as they were hitting the stage, and of course they kicked off this wonderful show with the legendary Helloween tune, which is like about a 15-minute song off of the first Keeper of the Seven Keys album. So who do we got in the band performing all this? So of course we've got the only two founding members who have been there throughout the whole time, and of course they're still on board. Michael Wyckoff on guitars and Marcus Grobkopf, I believe that's how he says his name, on bass, both founders. Joining them for this tour, of course, is also founding member, guitarist, and sometimes vocalist Kai Hansen. Of course, Kai Hansen left in the mid-90s to go form Gamma Ray. We've got back on vocals here Michael Kiske, the legendary Michael Kiske. Of course, we got Andy Darris still hanging in there on vocals. Sasha, how does he pronounce this? Sasha Gerstner, also on lead guitar. And then we've got Danny Lobley on drums. Okay, both of those two guys have been in the band for a while now. Conspicuous by his absence, of course, is Mr. Master Plan himself, Roland Grobkopf. For some reason, he either decided not to or they didn't invite him on this. Would have been nice if he would have been also involved, but hey, can only have so many guitar players on stage, right? That would have been 4. Kind of ridiculous. But anyway, so let's talk about the set list here. So the place was beyond packed, all right? So it was a sellout. They played 2 nights there, Saturday and Sunday. I went to Saturday. It was a complete sellout. Packed to the rafters, hot as hell in there. I don't know exactly how many people Irving Plaza holds. I'm going to say anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000. I could be off a little bit there, but it was jam-packed. It was jam-packed. We were literally all standing like sardines, it was kind of crazy. But people were totally into it. Totally into it. So what else did they play? So like I said, they played like 23 songs, which is pretty cool. So Helloween kicked it off. It was wonderful. Yeah, I was totally into that. That's probably my all-time favorite Helloween song. Helloween. It's an epic, lot of cool musical interplay, crazy guitar solos. What was really cool is to see both Kiske and Darris singing side by side. That kind of happened throughout the evening. There were some songs they sang together, and they alternated, lyrics and vocal passages and verses and whatnot. Sometimes one would sing the chorus, the other would sing the verse. Pretty cool. There were some songs where just the one of them was out there singing, and vice versa. So it was a really neat way they constructed the whole evening. Worked out very well. Dr. Steen came next. Kind of a fun tune. Another Keeper of the Seven Keys song. They both sang that one. Then it was Kiske all by himself on I'm Alive. Then we ran into other tunes like If I Could Fly, Are You Metal, some newer songs with Andy Darris. Are You Metal had everybody kind of singing along and chanting. March of Time was just great. That's another one of my favorite songs from the Keeper of the Seven Keys album. Great song. Then a newer track, Perfect Gentleman. Well, newer meaning mid-90s. Starlight, Ride the Sky, and Judas. This was a very cool, action-packed, pummeling medley where the other two vocalists left and you just had Kai Hansen up there singing vocals. It was really cool to see Kai singing lead vocals on some of these really old tunes. So, of course, we're Starlight, Ride the Sky, and Judas. Those are Walls of Jericho classics. Really, really good stuff. And then they ripped into Heavy Metal is the Law. Another great, great tune. Then we had A Tale That Wasn't Right. Another Keepers era song where we had both Kiski and Darris singing. Then they sang the song Pumpkins United, which is the new track. This is the first time I had heard it, actually. Pretty damn good. Pretty good. So they're kind of, what they're doing here is they're going the same route that like Michael Schenker's MSG little project is doing now, where he's bringing out all the past vocalists and classic members of the band. They're doing, touring, and they did a new album. So I think we're kind of going down that same route here. Then we had a drum solo, then Living Ain't No Crime, A Little Time, catchy tune also from the Keepers era. Waiting for the Thunder, great Andy Darris era song. Soul Survivor, Power, again, some really cool Darris vocals on these. Then How Many Tears, which was great. That's another old tune. What else? Then we get to the encore. We got Eagle Fly Free and Keeper of the Seven Keys. Of course, that's the other epic on the Keeper, the second album, the second Keeper of the Seven Keys album. And then guitar solo. And then Future World and I Want Out, two of the more popular tunes from the Keepers era. So all in all, just a really good show that probably, 2 hours, 40 minutes, 2:45, something like that. It was just under 3 hours. Left everybody happy. I don't think you could find anybody, at least nobody that I talked to that was disappointed in the show. Basically gave you everything you wanted. All sorts of Helloween classics from throughout their career. I hesitate to call it a greatest hit set because, let's face it, metal bands like this don't have hits, but a best of set, absolutely. Absolutely. So if you haven't had a chance to catch the Pumpkins United tour, I highly recommend it. My guess is they're going to come back around again because from what I've heard, they're selling out or near sellouts everywhere they're going. So, and what was really cool in the audience, I saw a really good mix of maybe folks who are my age, so maybe 50s, early mid-50s, upper 40s, mixed with some younger kids, 20s and 30s, who were knowing all those classic songs from the 80s, which is kind of good to see, along with a lot of us older farts who were sitting there singing along to some of them. But very, very cool. Really good turnout, good vibe at the concert, and the band seemed to really be having a great time. I did not get the impression that they were up there just kind of cashing in a paycheck to do this because this is what so many of the fans want. They literally seem to be having a good time. Michael Wycott, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell because he's so stone-faced all the time, and he doesn't show much expression. At least he didn't at this particular show. But it was great to see Kai Hansen, who, quite frankly, never ages at all. He looked and sounded amazing. He seemed to be having a blast up there. And, Michael Kiske sounded great. I almost didn't recognize him because, of course, he's got no hair. He's got the big, bald Buddha shell. And he's put on some weight. But, man, he sounded good. The Kiske wail was alive and force that night. So great to see and hear it. So, Andy Darris, great as always, quite the front man. So all in all, a really, really good show. A lot of great guitar work. The rhythms were great. The songs are legendary. The vocals were outstanding. Really good show. So visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on the mighty YouTube multiple times per week. We've got lots of great shows coming up. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't miss out. And, we'll see you next time. As far as I don't really have any other concerts on the schedule for the immediate future. But when next I do, I'll be sure to bring them here to you. So take care, guys. See you next time.